Okay guys, so you won't believe what happened last time. This samurai guy named Now was totally freaked out because his older brother just vanished. And get this, nobody else remembers him. Not even his own parents. They're all like, Now, honey, you're our only kid. So the owner of the local soba place, this wise old dude tells Now that he gotta talk to Jinta. That guy got a knack for figuring out the stuff that makes normal people's heads spin. So Now finds Jinta thinking he's some kind of Sherlock Holmes, but nope. Jinta's a demon slayer. A total bummer for Now. That's why the soba guy and this really sweet lady Ofu, they practically begged Jinta to help Now. And Jinta, being a decent guy deep down, finally goes, alright fine, let's see what's going on. So he talks to Now, and Now mentions these weird daffodils flowers his brother Sadanaga had in his room. And right before he disappeared, Sadanaga had told Now about a girl. But the flowers makes Jinta's eyebrows go up, you know? Something's not right, so Jinta decides to go see this guy's room. That's why they heads over to Nao's place, and his mom greets them like super polite and all. Now quickly makes up some story about running into Jinta. Says he is a sword nerd like him. So he invited Jinta over for a drink. Nao's mom is just relieved that Nao's finally got some company. Cause he's been really down lately, but back to the weirdness. Now shows Jinta the daffodils, and they were tiny, way smaller than Jinta expected plus. Now found them in springtime, and that's when it clicks for Jinta. He's got sure Sadanaga got yanked into another dimension by a demon, but to be totally sure, he wants to see Sadanaga's room. He tells Now to go on ahead because, demon identity, and gotta keep it down low from others. But the second Now steps into his brother's room, things started getting all shaky and weird. And suddenly, this girl's singing showed them some seriously messed up stuff like this massive fire where she lost everything. Her parents, her house, the whole city just turned to ashes. And the people who survived were terrified of her for some reason. She didn't get it until she saw herself in the water. It broke her apart, realizing she had lost even her own self. All she wanted was to go home, but that was never going to happen. That's why she just wandered around, lost, until she came back to where her home used to be, and there, people had created their home. It made her crave having a home and parents again so badly that she created this whole fake world, a mirage where she could see her family and her house again. That's how Now ended up in this weird dream world with Jinta. They both saw this whole flashback the demon kid showed them, and then they sees another scene. Now's brother Sadanaga was with this girl. He refused to leave her alone and said he would adopt her. He tried to convince her many times to come back to the real world with him, but she keeps saying no. And Now, seeing all this, just begs the girl to give his brother back. But the girl said nobody's here anymore. Jinta has to break it to Now that his brother isn't coming back. He explains that those little daffodils Now showed him. They actually bloom really early in winter, and Sadanaga vanished in spring. These flowers shouldn't even be around in their world, but they're in full bloom in this dream world. That means time moves way faster here than in the real world. Turns out this kid's a dreamer. And that's how she made this whole world. It just replays her memories, and that's all it does. She can't actually trap anyone there, so, yeah, Sadanaga's probably gone. The girl again said no one's there, and she gives Now this really sad goodbye. But also thanks him because Sadanaga made her happy while he was here. He spent his whole time in that world trying to make it special for her, so she had her own plans about what to do next to keep the promise she made with Sadanaga. With it, the mystery's solved, but Now still wondering why his brother would give up everything for this demon kid. Then the next morning, Jinta's back at the soba shop and Now brings in these old official records. Turns out there was a fire 200 years ago that wiped out this demon girl's family and home. And after that, Now's family just happens to live in the same spot where her house used to be. That's why her dream world looked so much like their place. Jinta apologizes for not really solving anything, but Now knows that's not true. He knew his brother was just a really good guy who followed his heart, but Now had work to do. But Ofu tells him that Sadanaga was a good person. He risked everything to save a kid in pain. That really hits Now, and Ofu and her dad thank Jinta again for helping Now. But Jinta's still got some questions buzzing in his head. The demon girl called Now's brother Hyoma. That was Sadanaga's real name, and only family and the Lord would know that. And another thing is that Jinta remembers Ofu's dad saying he heard Now's mom scolding him about his swords hobby, although just once, but Now's mom was super nice to Jinta. A complete stranger, so something's fishy. Plus, the demon kid said Sadanaga wasn't there anymore and demons don't lie, right? So Jinta puts it all together, that Sadanaga probably came out of that dream world as an old man, and all that time passing faster made him old, so he couldn't just go back home like that, so he opened a soba shop. And it has to be him the owner, especially when the owner gave Jinta this thing, this keepsake that only a family member would have. Sadanaga gave up and revealed he didn't regret helping that girl, even though it meant leaving his old life behind. And he already figured out Jinta was a demon after being around one for 20 years. So Jinta asks Sadanaga about the demon girl, and Sadanaga just smiles and says, that is Ofu. Jinta's whole job is hunting demons, but after all this, he realizes something important. Not every demon is evil, so he just orders a plate of soba. Good way to end the day. And right there our episode 6 ends, so stay tuned to watch the next episode, and for that subscribe the channel, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. Till then, take care.